Hello all, this is Shark speaking, and welcome to part 2 of my tutorial series on anime in GIMP, drawing anime in GIMP, and today we are going to be working on the line art. So let's open up what we were working on in the previous video. Now I'm not going to be talking this video is going to be going a lot faster because I'm going to be fast forwarding. This video is going to be a lot shorter than the sketch video because, you know, that video required an introduction. Well, maybe it didn't require one, but I felt like doing an introduction. And there's going to be a lot less of me explaining, you know, things about GIMP and things about anatomy, and it's just going to be strictly about, well, mostly strictly about the line art. And once I show you my process of doing line art, you know, that process repeats throughout the piece. So without further ado, there's going to be very little dialogue in this tutorial. So let me just show you how I do line art in GIMP. So the first thing I do, I already started doing it without telling you what I was doing, is I added a transparency layer. I explained why I did it in the original video, the first video, over the sketch layer. And I'm going to click on the sketch layer and lower the opacity around 50, enough that I can still see it, but not too much that it like distracts me or confuses me. Now, the transparency layer over the sketch layer is going to be our ink layer. And this is how I do inking. I click on the ink, and where's the size? The size for this particular image, for images that are going to be very detailed, I go 0.3. For images that are going to be like less detailed, more stylized, more graphic, like chibi drawings or something, I go 0.5. But this drawing, as you can tell, is more detailed, so it's 0.3. And that's going to be for this, you know, there's two different line sizes I use in each image, and I'll show you the second image, the second size of the ink brush when I get to the, you know, the bigger lines. So then, now that I have my ink settings, I go to this tool, Pass tool, and I'm on design, and I go into where, that's a little too close, I go into where I'm going to start drawing. I guess I'm going to start drawing on her hair. And you click, and you click, and you click. Now we go to Edit, and you drag. Okay, and then you hit Stroke Path, and you go to Stroke with Paint tool, and you go down to Ink, and you hit Stroke, and it does it with the ink brush. See? Now, that is pretty much how I ink and do the line art of my digital art. So like I said, I'm just going to fast forward the rest of the inking of this, and I will talk again when I do that second size of ink and explain that to you. But pretty much that's it. Now, no one has given me flack so far about how I ink using the Pass tool. Some people might see it as cheating, and I do feel self-conscious sometimes about it, but it is my method. It's the method that gives me, you know, the results that I like, a very clean, very precise line, a very even line, quickly. And, you know, if that's how you gotta do it, that's how you gotta do it. And you can take the ink brush and do it, you know, manually, right? But, you know, it's gonna take more time to get that line steady, get that line clean to the way that you want it to. And if that's the style you like, that's the style you like. But the style I like for what I do is that line. So, like I said in the first video, whatever technique you find does what you like, use it. But again, no one's ever given me flack about it. But, you know, I'm still a little insecure about using the path tool, but I shouldn't be. So without further ado, let's ink the rest of this drawing. And if you want to move a anchor after you've anchored it, you just go from edit to design and you can move it. Now, in my ink layer, I do a few, like several layers, so that erasing will be easier. And see, since I did 2 separate layers of this, erasing what I don't want and keeping what I do want is easier. And you can alternate between layers that you've already created, so you don't have to just keep creating new layers. Along with being able to erase a line you don't want and keep a line you do want, with these doing multiple layers in the inking process, you know, allows you to overlap, so you can see where things go more accurately. And again, once you're done with that, doing an overlap, you can erase what you don't want. Okay, so that's the hair. So I'm going to merge all of the hair layers together, because I don't really need that many now. And now I'm going to create a new transparent layer and start working on the face. And I can see in my sketch what's going to be covered by your hair and what isn't. So I'm just going to be drawing or inking what isn't. The chin comes right off that divide. Even though it's not there right now, you envision it in your head. And the face goes in where this line is. The Cupid's bow goes right underneath the nose. So I'm doing a closed selection of these paths. So when I'm going to connect the last anchor with the first one, I hit Command on my keyboard, hover my mouse over the first one, and I click, and it connects it. You want to constantly measure to check symmetry. Create an enclosed selection, drag it without using edit, because dragging it creates a better circle, I think. And then we go stroke path, okay, and then we do it on the other eye. Checking for symmetry, okay. The side's a lot lower than, okay, so that might be something I need to fix. But for right now, the pupil, Just constantly checking for symmetry. Oops. And we can easily just go over and erase our eyeball lines. Now I've found out that this one is too low, so we're going to fix that. And this pupil's too big, so we're just going to do the whole thing over, okay? There, that's good. And just like that, we've created eyes. So I just merged down all the line art layers of the face to each other, but not to the line art layers of the hair. And if a layer is bothering you or distracting you, you can just hit this little eye and make it invisible. And if you change your mind about something that's in the sketch layer, you can just go back in and change it. Like I'm going to put her arms to her side again over here. That's simple. Simple fix. Okay, so now we're going to delete the sketch layer and work on cleaning up the messy line art layer. Okay, so that's it for the first initial line art. Now, let's merge all these layers together. Let's save it first. File, save, and let's merge all these layers together. Okay, so now that these are all merged together, let's do the thing that I told you I did that involves a different size of pen. And what that is the outline. Now, this is something that was actually taught to me by another, well, he was kind of, you know, a professional, I guess, but he held like a little seminar or whatever, but he was still kind of like a friend, so that's why I went to his seminar. He taught me to, and this was during high school, freshman year, he taught me that doing an outline in a line that's thicker than all the rest of the lines makes your product look crisper and cleaner. So that's what we're going to do. And we're going to go to ink and we're going to change the size of the ink to 0.5. And again, that depends on the type of drawing. When it's more detailed, I do go 0.3 for all the other lines and 0.5 for the outline. But again, when it's like a chibi or something more simple or graphic, I go 0.5 for all the other lines and like 1 for the exterior lines. So we just go along all the edges and we're going to outline the piece with a thicker line. And see, now we have an outside line that's thicker than the inside line. And you can erase lines that don't coincide. And you can also use the outlining process to clean up the silhouette of what you're drawing. Because another thing that makes your drawing look good is a nice, clean silhouette. Okay, so that completes this installment of the my GIMP tutorial series. This has been Line Art, and I will see you guys next time where we will be discussing base colors.